Lagos Talks
91.3.
News.
The Federal Executive Council has approved the National Duct 1 policy, which aims to institutionalize and provide channels to accommodate either fiber optic cables for service providers, electricity cables and related underground lines during major construction of infrastructure in Nigeria. Speaking on the social-economic relevance, Minister of Communication and Digital Economy Dr. Issa Pantami had said the policy memo, when fully implemented, will address all issues related to damage of existing infrastructure.
A lot of damage is being done either to our roads or to our facilities. Why? Because during the design and construction, no provision of any duct or pipeline where the fiber optics and other telecommunication gadgets will pass through. It is because of this we organized stakeholder engagement, where we brought all the stakeholders, including the Ministry of Works and Housing, where we all agreed that there was a need to institutionalize the provision of ducts in design and construction. And there are so many benefits to be attained from that. Number one, it allows shared infrastructure. Number two, it makes maintenance and repair much easier.
Two other memos approved in favor of the Communication Ministry include the Bill for a National Child Online Protection Policy and Strategy, which aims to protect minors from harmful internet content, and the National Data Protection Bill. The federal government says it will no longer tolerate strike actions and riots in the aviation sector, as the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria Act prohibits such from happening in the industry. Aviation Minister Hadi Sirika, who spoke after yesterday's weekly Federal Executive Council meeting, had apologized to the public and vowed that the government will ensure that the law is enforced to prevent future occurrences. On Monday, flights at the Murtala Mohammed International Airport in Lagos were disrupted owing to a strike by Nigerian Aviation Handling Company PLC NACO staff members over salary increments. The strike was later suspended after the management of NACO said it had commenced negotiations with its workers. The Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, has denied scarcity of the new Naira notes, as alleged by some Nigerians, and advised that faulty currencies be returned to banks for replacement. The CBN Governor, Godwin Emefiele, represented by Director Payment System Management Department of the bank, Musa Jimo, denied the allegations in a news conference which was held in Jos, saying the Apex Bank has massively supplied the new notes to commercial banks to dispense, both at counters and ATMs. Emefiele advised citizens to deposit their old notes at any commercial bank and acquire new ones with immediate effect, insisting that the January 31 deadline remains sacrosanct. The Central Bank of Nigeria governor explained that the decision to redesign the currency shows that the Apex Bank is in tandem with global standards, adding that currency notes ought to be redesigned within 5 years, while regretting that it took the country 9 years since such changes were last effected. The Nigeria Senate has confirmed the nomination of a former Inspector General of Police, Solomon Arase, for appointment as chairman of the Police Service Commission. Arase's confirmation was sequel to the consideration of a report by the Committee on Police Affairs, which, through Senator Jika Haliru, declared that Arase performed creditably during the screening exercise and proved that he has the capacity to lead the Police Service Commission.
The committee deliberated extensively on the nominee's qualification, capacity, suitability, and competence for appointment as chairman of the Police Service Commission during the screening process, and made the following findings and observations as a result: that the nominee met the legal requirement outlined in Section 154, subsection 1, and Section 2A and B of the Police Service Commission Establishment Act 2001. Secondly, that the committee has determined, based on fact and existing laws, that that the nominee presented by Mr. President for confirmation for appointment as chairman of the Police Service Commission has met the necessary legal requirement, and he is hereby affirmed to be a fit and proper person for appointment as chairman of the Police Service Commission.
The Senate had thereafter unanimously adopted the report for the confirmation.
The Police Service Commission and the police force or police headquarters need to work together very, very closely, peacefully and cordially to ensure that we are properly policed in Nigeria. There were conflicts before. I think it was needless to have serious any misunderstanding really between the two institutions, the Police Service Commission and of course the Nigeria Police Force.
Meanwhile, the Senate afterwards adjourned plenary till the 28th of February 2023 after the presidential election. Elsewhere, the House of Representatives has mandated relevant security agencies to fish out oil marketers and other economic saboteurs responsible for the fuel scarcity across the country. It is sequel to a motion raised by Honorable Leke Abejide Kogi State on the need for the NNPC Limited and other regulators in the petroleum industry to nip in the bud the fuel scarcity experienced across the country, which he says has exposed Nigerians to all sorts of hardship.
Coming for our information, we're having some relevant information known to them. But the first category didn't stop. The president had made a statement. This first category didn't stop. And that's why I think let us not be doing this right in terms of putting a time frame. Allow the committee to investigate immediately. So what are the factors mitigating or helping in the situation we have found ourselves? It's not known to you. It's not known to me.
48 hours. Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. 48 hours.
I think the motion has spoken.
Correspondent Nathan Williams reports that the House urged the NNPC Limited to urgently ease off the queues at the filling stations and further invited regulatory authority mainstream and downstream petroleum resources to appear before it today, Thursday. And out of politics, the presidential candidate of the ruling APC, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has alleged a plot is being made to scuttle the general elections. While addressing a rally at the Moshood Abiola International Stadium, Abeokuta, Ogun State, Tinubu indicated some interest were against the elections being held as scheduled, citing the scarcity of fuel being experienced across the country and the redesign of the Nigerian currency as part of the major plot to sabotage the polls. Noting that the 2023 general election is a revolution, the APC presidential candidate, however, assured his supporters, thousands of whom attended the rally, that neither the elections nor his own victory can be stopped, as voting will take place across the country, irrespective of the obstacles. The United States of America government has threatened to impose visa restrictions on individuals found acting while undermining the Nigerian 2023 general elections. U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken in Abuja, in a statement, said the action was in line with his commitment to combat corruption, support and advance democracy in Nigeria and around the world. He further explained that the visa restrictions are specific to certain individuals and are not directed at the Nigerian people or the government of Nigeria. In the meantime, the People's Democratic Party, the PDP in Abia State, will be making a quick decision in order to field the governorship candidate for the general elections. It followed the death of Uche Konne, the party's candidate for the election, who passed away yesterday, the 25th of January, at the National Hospital Abuja. The deceased was the candidate endorsed by Governor Okezie Ikpeazu of Abia State as his preferred successor. For the deceased to be replaced as the PDP governorship candidate in the state, the party must hold a fresh primary election within the next 14 days, according to Section 33, Subsection 1 of the 2022 Electoral Law, which provides that political parties cannot change their candidates except in the event of death or withdrawal of such candidates. On the international scene, the South African government has urged people to take caution as the death toll from an ongoing heatwave in parts of the country rises to 8. State broadcaster, the SABC, quoted a state official as expressing concern over the impact of the hot weather that the country had been experiencing. Some parts of the country have recently been experiencing temperatures at above 40 degrees centigrade. The government has urged people to take measures such as drinking water and wearing light clothing to avoid heat exhaustion. Donald Trump will be allowed back on Facebook and Instagram after Meta announced it will be ending its 2-year suspension of his accounts. In a statement, Nick Clegg, the president of Global Affairs Meta, said the public should be able to hear what their politicians are saying. The then U.S. president was indefinitely suspended from Facebook and Instagram after the Capitol riot in 2021. Meta says a review found that Trump's account no longer represented a serious risk to public safety. In business news, trading activities on the Nigerian Exchange Limited Wednesday ended with a bearish position as the market indices losing by 0.02%. All-share index increased by 12.90 points to close at 52,599.65, while the market capitalization lost 7 billion naira to close at 28.649 trillion naira. The weak performance was impacted by losses recorded in medium and large capitalized stocks, amongst which are Giriku Power, MTN Nigeria Communications, MTNN, Nigerian Exchange Group, Cadbury Nigeria, and United Bank for Africa UBA. However, market breadth, which is measured by market sentiment, was positive as 21 stocks gained relative to 16 losers. The total volume traded declined by 34.3% to 119.84 million units, valued at 2.69 billion naira and exchanged in 3,055 deals. And lastly, in sports this morning, President of Nigeria Football Federation Alhaji Ibrahim Musa Gusau has promised the players and officials of the national under-17 women's team, the Flamingos, who won bronze at the 2022 FIFA Under-17 Women's World Cup in India late last year, will get their bonuses in no distant time. Players of Flamingos have been agitating for the payment of their match bonuses after they returned to a warm welcome by the Sports Minister Sunday Dare. The NFF boss, in a statement, also expressed optimism that the Honourable Minister of Youth and Sports Development will fulfill his promise to arrange for the girls to be given a deserving reception by the federal government. Manchester United took total control of their Carabao Cup semi-final against Nottingham Forest with a 3-0 win in the first leg at the City Ground. Marcus Rashford's stunning solo goal opened the scoring before Wout Weghorst's first goal in a United shirt, followed by Bruno Fernandes' late third, which put Eric Ten Hag's team in a commanding position ahead of the second leg at Old Trafford. Manchester United are next in action on Saturday when they host Reading in the FA Cup before hosting Nottingham Forest at Old Trafford on Wednesday. Thanks again for staying with us. It is the 26th day of January 2023. Have a lovely Thursday.
Lagos Talks
91.3.